This video contains major spoilers for Monster Hunter Wilds. Wilds is great. I just really love the series. I pretty much knew that I would love it right off the bat. I'm not really someone who has strong opinions about the differing styles between World and Rise or old games versus new games. I just like killing dragons with oversized swords and wearing their skin as a hat. But beneath the core gameplay loop lies something that feels like it was finally brought to the forefront in Wilds. And that is Monster Hunter's deep reverence for the natural world. I'm Ouroboros. Let's talk. I know that saying Capcom respects nature in a game about literally killing wild animals sounds like a bit of a bad case of cognitive dissonance, but hear me out. To me, a few things stand out about the series. The first is the complexity and fluidity of its combat system. No other game keeps me as engaged with the same enemies over and over, quite like Monster Hunter. But really, that's in part due to its enemy design. This is where Capcom's dedication to nature really starts. See, while all of the monsters are fantastical by design, they are rooted in real-world biology. Like, take for example, Lalaburina. Are there actual spiders in the real world who have giant roses on their butts and pirouette around like a ballerina? Of course not. But there are spiders who camouflage themselves and hide within flowers. There are also some species of tarantula that have urticating hairs. Yes, that's what it's called, and yes, I had to look it up. They kick up these barbed hairs whenever they feel threatened. Sound familiar? So again, the Monster Hunter team takes a lot of inspiration from real-world creatures and then typically hones in on one or two key concepts when they design a monster. I've found myself really enjoying digging into the real foundations of these fantastical beasts when I'm playing the games. That's all well and good, but those ideas have always been with the series. Why am I just now enjoying nature in Wilds as opposed to previous entries? Well, it comes down to a few really big additions. The first is the change in weather that happens in each major area. It ties into the themes of the game. Nature is cyclical and the weather reflects that. Every area rotates between a season of plenty, fallow, and the occasional inclemency. This small change adds so much life into the few areas the game has. Seeing the lush, vibrant windward plains be transformed into this harsh wasteland with lightning strikes at every corner has such a profound impact on the atmosphere of each area. Of course, there are other areas with their own unique weather mechanics, but really, it makes the areas feel like a more integral part of the experience. It's always felt like the creatures were such a big focus, and the maps were more of a backdrop to fight those monsters. World definitely changed that. The Coral Highlands in particular was an amazing locale that brought tons of character to the new world, but what I love about Wilds is that they intentionally make you sit there and enjoy the spectacular ecological zones they've created. Most of the big story moments happen in these kind of odd walk and talk moments between hunts. There really isn't any time for you to develop characters or bring up important plot points when you're in a life or death battle with a giant flaming octopus. Monster Hunter hasn't really ever had a big focus on the plot. It's there, but it's never why we buy these games. But here, Capcom slows everything down to make you take a break from all the action-packed hunts that the series is known for, and you and the other characters sit there and marvel at the beautiful trees, the local flora, the herbivores that you usually don't give a second thought to. There's so many small moments when you are traversing the Forbidden Lands that make me appreciate the world Capcom crafted so much more. I know it's an odd thing to gush about, and I can definitely understand people not enjoying these parts, but it's a nice break from the usual formula of go on a quest, kill a monster, go back to camp, and then repeat for the next 100 or 1,000 hours, however long you play. I think what really makes it stick is that it plays into the story so well. I know we always joke about needing Alma's permission before we can hunt a monster, but the main story of Monster Hunter has always been about keeping the ecosystem in check. All the extra hunts that we do to farm materials are technically kind of non-canon, but I'm not going to open that whole bag of worms. All of the main quests are about making sure that this crazy world is kept in balance. When you have basically living forces of nature walking around next to people's homes, you kinda have to have some way to maintain them if they get angry. It's never been about hunting for sport, but rather putting down berserk creatures, or even invasive ones. And we see that in full force when you finally face Guardian Arkfeld. It's clear that it's destroying the ecosystem around it, and that the only way to help preserve that balance is to, in fact, hunt it. That is exactly what the series has been trying to convey for the past who knows how many entries. But it's really taken them up until now to finally realize that goal. Wilds has a much larger focus on the story and its characters than previous titles, and I'm so glad that they took this approach when writing the narrative. In addition, the many different groups of people you meet throughout the game all have their own ways of dealing with monsters that aren't hunting. Basically, every NPC is shocked by the weapons you carry and are in awe of your ability to go toe-to-toe with these beasts. They're trying their best to live in harmony with the world around them. And while that works most of the time, when all else fails, they have to call upon you, the hunter. I like to think that we are the very last resort when all other options fail. It's like putting down a rabid dog, but on a much larger scale. I guess that's kind of Monster Hunter in a nutshell. Everything has to be big, grand, bombastic, while still maintaining that intimacy that you have with each village and location throughout the game. This is the second video in my 2025 Monster Hunter May. Each Sunday, I will be posting a new video focused on something Monster Hunter related. It may be about the series in general, or it may be about Wild specifically. I did the same thing last year and it went incredibly well, so because my ego is so heavily influenced by seeing big numbers, I'll be doing it again this year. Feel free to check out last year's videos if you haven't, and enjoy the next videos if you're watching this after they've released. Regardless, I've been enjoying many things about Wilds. I think that the narrative is a great new leap for the series, and while I don't think it's spectacular, it managed to keep me thoroughly engaged throughout the entirety of Low Rank. However, its themes of nature intertwine itself with the characters and locales that interest me the most. The team over at Capcom has always deeply respected nature in their enemy designs. But now, through the story and the world, do we finally see their vision and passion fully realized. I love engrossing myself in the natural world of Monster Hunter Wilds, and I'm excited to see what new additions, natural or constructed, await us in the future. Thanks for watching.